Joel Embiid MVP. He ain't better than the Joker.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Around the Association. Well, last night was a big night in Philadelphia. Joel Embiid, came out. His little son ran out on the court with him as he was there to receive his first NBA MVP. A lot of people feel like it was overdue. They feel like, he could have had at least one of Jokic the last two seasons. But Fat Joe is not one of them people. Fat Joe got on live to kind of give his perspective on Joel Embiid. Even though he said maybe he did deserve it, was in a kind of a backhanded type way. Like, okay, you just don't give it to the better player. But he clearly feels like Jokic is superior to Joel Embiid. Take a listen here.
Joel Embiid MVP. I'm not gonna lie. I've been in the games. Joel Embiid, he's water. He's a great player. Did he deserve MVP this year? Maybe so. He ain't better than the Joker. He ain't. And shout out to Philly. I used to be at all the Philly games for AI. E Philly, my brother. I love him to death. Fifth and Allegheny and all that. But he just ain't crazy like that.
And I'm not gonna lie, Fat Joe, to me at least, he's way off base with that. Cause I'm like, homie, what are you basing that on? What in the world could you possibly be basing that on? Now, when you look at the breakdown, I mean, let's take it too. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so when we look at their head-to-head matchups, right? Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic has played 7 games against one another in the regular season. They haven't faced in the playoffs yet. That would be a great NBA Finals, I feel like. But Joel Embiid has won 5 of those 7 games. Nikola Jokic has won only 2. You know what I'm saying? So that's a team metric. Some people be like, well, Philly has a better team and Denver's players have been out. Okay, well, let's move on. When we look at, their head-to-head stat-wise, Joel Embiid, 25.7 a game. Nikola Jokic, 21.9. Joel Embiid, 11.9 boards. Nikola Jokic, 8.9 boards. 7.4 assists. Jokic has over Joel Embiid's 3.6. Joel Embiid wins slightly in the steals and averages a full more block a game in their head-to-head matchups. So we can't act like that's not a thing, okay? Now, on top of Joel Embiid dominating him stat-wise and winning more games, their biggest matchups against one another, Joel Embiid was really knocking at the door of a 50-piece when they faced back in January. You know what I'm saying? Like this year. So it's not like, most recently, their most recent matchup showed that Jokic was better now. No, Joel Embiid dropped 47 and 18. You know what I'm saying? And took the dub. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't know. I don't know. I mean, Jokic is supremely talented. Okay, the brother can handle. He can, shoot. He can do a lot of things. I will say, Joel Embiid is no comparison. There's a comparison offensively, but there's no comparison on the defensive end. What are you talking about, Fat Joe? That makes no sense to me. Now, what's more alarming really for Joel Embiid right now, what's more present, because he did get the MVP, shout out to him, but it's the fact that Boston has now taken home court back away from the Philadelphia 76ers. You know what I'm saying? Like, they went in game 3 won 114-102, and now they have a 2-1 lead. Just a more balanced attack across the board. Tatum 27, Jaylen Brown 23, 17 for Al Horford. I mean, just a more Malcolm Brogdon gave Boston 15 off the bench. Just a more balanced attack, right? Whereas Joel Embiid, I mean, he got a little help from his bench, you know what I'm saying? And actually the bench, had about 27 points, so they didn't play that bad. Joel Embiid had 30, 13, and 4 blocks. It's just, it don't seem like him and James Harden can ever get on the same page and play off each other. It's like their games, for some reason, you would think it would mesh because James Harden led the league in assists, but he hasn't really had a good game with Joel Embiid out there on the floor. If you look at game 1, how they took Boston, Joel Embiid wasn't there. He got down. James Harden's kind of struggled, and he struggled the last 2 games, to be honest with you. And last night he was 3 for 14, 16 points, 11 assists, okay, but with 5 turnovers. You know what I'm saying? 2 for 7 from 3. So he hasn't been able to. I don't think he's found that balance for whatever reason, and they've played together, at least a year and a half now. So you would think he would understand. Okay, this is when I get mine. This is what, and I can't put it all on Harden. Tyrese Maxey, you stunk it up out there, young pup. 4 for 16, 13 points. You got to do better because this is the playoffs. And I get it, you're young, but Doc has really shown a lot of, faith in you, really pushed you. I'd love to get more out of Tobias Harris. It's almost like they just need everyone to get on board and give, Joel Embiid some more help now that he is back. And Joel Embiid, he was protecting the rim. But if they get bounced again, I fear there's going to be talk of replacing the coach and maybe looking to make some trades in Philly, because this team may have peaked out with when you start talking about salary and what they've been able to accomplish with the team, with a really good team that they put together. If they get knocked out again this year, there's nothing you can say or sell to say, okay, well, they'll be able to beat Boston next year, or beat Milwaukee next year, or in the playoffs. Let me know what you guys think, man. Fat Joey need to be off that crack. I know he went by coke crack, but he's really, to say he's not as good as Jokic. I mean, I don't see it. Let me know what you guys think. If I'm off base, let me know about it in the comments. I'm going to holler at you next time. Peace.